Hello! Let me put my sunglasses, my glasses on so I can see myself. Welcome back to Steve's Corner. The Courtship of Jess and Lizzy. Hey man, my little lady lives over here. She's going through a rough period right now. She's had a rough few years, not health-wise, but just stuff happening. And so, I was gonna run over there Wednesday and check on her, but but it was raining, it's pouring down the rain. When me and the baby went by last night, and she was gone then. So, but earlier this morning I ran over there to just check on her. Usually I go over there on Sundays, just check in on her if she needs anything. I give her a hand with it. If she don't, we just sit and talk a little bit, you know. But I like to go in there an extra day during the week, maybe 2 days a week, just keep an eye on her, make sure everything's going okay. But she's just as sweet as she can be. She really is. Connie, we was over there one day. It's been a while back, and come back and she says, "Man, she's sweet. She's just, she's just a good woman, you know. She's good-hearted. She's kind. You know, she's just an all-around real good person, man." And but I was thinking about it Wednesday when I was supposed to go over yonder, and I had an Uncle Jess and Aunt Lizzy down in Carolina, and Dad was in service with their son down at Fort Bragg, and they live in Dillon, or they lived in Dillon, and so he'd go home with him sometimes, and that's how he met him. That's how he met Mama, and as he got older and after he married Mama, I mean, we was always going down to Carolina anyways to see my grandparents, and we always kept going over there to visit them. Dad thought the world of both of them. He really did. And well, they treated him so well when he went in there with their son, you know, give him a place to sleep and feed him, and you know, a few other things they did to help him along, but but they had yeah, but so we just kept going down there, and then as I grew older, I kept going down there too. And then when kids were born, me and Connie would stop by and talk to them, visit with them, you know. And you couldn't leave Aunt Lizzy's house without her offering to make you some biscuits, Doc. She could make some biscuits. She made them 3 times a week. I mean, 3 times a day. Made them for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, or dinner and supper, I guess is what she said. She kept them in all. I know you've seen them big old metal bowls, probably about that big around, I guess. But it kind of ceramic coated to white, and they got most of them have a ring around them, like a red ring. Or Connie's got a couple of them, but they're small ones. They're black, or I think Connie's got a couple of like light orange color ones, wrapped ones, just a little bitty ring around the top. But she always kept her flour in that, and she'd have a dish towel over it, and she'd keep it in the oven. When it cooled off, she'd just stick it in there, and then whenever she's ready to make biscuits, all she had to do is grab that thing out there, and she had her flour right there, and she's ready to make them, Doc. She can make them in no daggone time, and good. Let me tell you, buddy. I loved going to visit her, and nothing wouldn't do, man. You know how we don't want any, because we wouldn't want to get up at that time. I mean, she was getting older then, you know, 60s, 70s, 80s maybe. I don't know if she didn't live to 80, I don't believe. But you don't want to put them out. But man, nothing wouldn't do until you ate a biscuit, man. And I loved them. They were great, man. I ain't gonna lie. They're probably hands down the best biscuit I ever eat. And cakes, my goodness, that lady could make a cake. We actually have recipes. Connie's got it in her recipe book here. It says Aunt Lizzy's chocolate cake, because she made the real little thin layers, made about 7 of them, put a little icing in between them, you know. And boy, I don't know what they did to them, but they good. And she didn't know. One of my aunts had wanted to write it down, and then she'd ask her, "How much of this you put in there?" "I don't know, about a little bit." So she had to cook them and try to figure it out as she went along because she didn't use measuring spoons and nothing like that. She's been doing it for years. But it's a good cake, Doc. I don't lie to you. Connie ain't made one of those in a while. But anyway, she was. It was one time before I met Connie, so it's been 40 years ago, I guess. I was over there visiting them, and Uncle Jess was around her, Doc. I ain't gonna lie to you. He liked to drink. He wasn't a bad drunk or anything. He was just kind of mischievous. You know, he'd do something stupid, like he glued a dime down on the coffee table right there one time. Just ticked her off. Something like that he would do. He wasn't, now that I know it, I mean, I know them probably since they was in their 50s. But he wasn't mean, he wasn't aggressive or belligerent or nothing like that. But he would get mischievous. But and her kids were pretty. They were kind of rounders too. Most of them were. They were good people. But they tended to have a little fun and get in trouble a little bit. But she was telling me about the day she met him, when they first met each other, because she had moved into a house at the next farm over from where Uncle Jess lived at, or where my granddad lived at. And she was in there scalding the walls, because they used to, I don't know how big a deal it is, but down there, it's real flat. It's open country, man. It's flat land. It's just farming. But when they'd move into a new rental home, they would, for them, not a new house, but a new home for them, they would take them real hot rags and wash the walls and stuff with them. She said how embarrassed she was. That boy come up there to visit them and the new neighbors, and she looked a mess because she'd been scalding the walls all day. But she told me the way they courted was they had a little settee in the house there in front of the fireplace. It was sort of like a bench, and her mom and dad would sit behind them in their chair, and they would sit down there and they'd draw pictures or play crossword puzzles or whatever on a piece of paper, and they'd pass it back and forth. And she said that's how he just proposed marriage to her. She said that he would say, you know, I bet you can't draw a picture like this or whatever, and pass it to her, and then she'd say, I bet I can, and she'd draw it and pass it back. But that's the way he wrote down on there, will you marry me? And he passed it to her, and then she wrote down yes on that piece of paper. I always thought that was a cute story. It brings a smile to my face, think about her and the grub that she could make, Doc. I ain't gonna lie to you. And just how sweet a lady she was. I mean, she was just good to the bone, man. You know. I figured as the way the world's going nowadays, man, you know, it's nice to have them thoughts and to know somebody like that. You know, I've been fortunate. I've known two, I mean, just sweet as you can figure ladies in my life. And, I mean, Aunt Lizzy is probably she's queen of the crop for me. But you know, it's good to know people like that. Most people are good down deep, but you know, you got them nuts, man, and the world seems like it's full of them now. You know, don't let it get you down. There's good out there. You have to look for them, and if you know one of them, man, latch on to them and stay with them, man. They're worth knowing and getting to be good friends with. Because I wouldn't take anything in the world for that woman back over yonder, my little lady. I think I would just as much of her as if she was blood relative, man. I'd do anything in the world I could for her. She's just that good of a lady. Same for Aunt Lizzy. She was a heck of a woman. But anyways, man, y'all take care of yourself, man. You enjoy your weekend, and we'll talk to y'all later.